Men are good. Italy's bid for the end of child support.
The Washington Post has made me happy yet again. Last time they did this, there was an article in the Post about why can't we hate men? It made me so happy because feminists were finally admitting that they hate men and that they think they have a right to hate men. That was good stuff, right? So what is this newest article? Oh boy. Let me read you the headline. Italy's proposed new divorce law would turn back the clock 50 years on women's rights, critics say. Turn back the clock 50 years on women's rights. What are they talking about? Are they talking about women in dunking chairs? Or are they talking about stockades for women? Or maybe forced sandwich making? None of the above. They're talking about a new proposed divorce law in Italy. And let me read you the first paragraph from this Post article about this divorce law. It goes like this. Italy's government is pushing draft legislation that would revolutionize the country's divorce laws. Sounds good so far. Abolishing child support. Wow. And taking custody away from parents who badmouth their exes or try to otherwise harm their relationships with their children. Wow, again. Can you believe it? This has got the feminists upset. Well, what are they talking about? What is the Italian law that they're proposing? What is it? What's it saying? And I poked around online a little bit, and it turns out what they're saying is they want to have what they call perfect co-parenting. And by perfect co-parenting, they're talking about having it be exactly half and half, where the mother and the father have exactly the amount of time with the kids, and the father takes care of the financial aspect of his side of things, both his house and the kids. The mother takes care of her side, the house and the kids, and there's no child support that goes back and forth. No unaccountable child support, as we all know. So what happens when one parent is indigent? Well, what happens is the other parent, who is more wealthy, pays for the child's needs at the time. But they don't pay the mother or the father, because that would be like child support, right? And then it could be used whatever way the mother or father wanted. No, in this case, in the Italian law, they say that if it's the father who has to help the mother pay for the children's needs, he pays directly for those needs. So if the kids need a school thing, he pays directly for that. If they need clothes, he pays directly for that. Not a check to the mother, but a check directly to help the kids. Doesn't that sound like a good idea to you? What is not to like about all this? And I think, the thing that they don't like the most about it is that this is really equal. This is really equality. I did a video a while back on equality would be a step down for women. And that's really what we're talking about here. Because this is as equal as you can get. You each pay exactly what you pay for your side. And if the other needs help, you chip in the money to do that, but only for the child's needs, not for anything else. So I think it's important that we note that this equality is kind of hard for people. Really, women have been on a gravy train in some ways with the divorce courts for years, where, the man has to pay child support, and the child support goes to the mother, and then she can do whatever she wants with that. But there's another thing about this Italian law. They talked about parental alienation syndrome and said that they would punish parents who they found were alienating the other parent. Man, that sounds good to me. I can't tell you the trauma I've seen over the years working with mostly men who have been alienated from their kids by their spouse. The mother would push this narrative that the father's terrible, the father doesn't care about the kids, the father hates them, the father this, the father that, etc., right? And the kids start to believe it. They start to take it in. They start to think that that's the case. And so they stay away from the father. It's terrible. It's horrible. And it's great to see a country looking at and having a look at that and saying, this is a problem for parenting, because kids need both parents. They need both mom and dad. And if one parent is sabotaging the other, we need to try and stop that, because that's crazy. But what else did this article say about parental alienation syndrome? Check this out. But parental alienation syndrome is not listed in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. Yeah, they're absolutely right that that's the case, but they're not telling you something else. What they're not telling you is that in the DSM-5, there are literally 2 diagnoses that cover this kind of behavior. They're just not called parental alienation syndrome. They're called something else. So therapists are free to use those diagnoses in whatever way they want to. But the Post is, of course, telling you just one side of the story. You know, that parental alienation is not in the DSM-5, and it's literally not. You know, PAS was coined by a guy named Gardner years ago. And when he started out, he said, look, this whole thing of parental alienation looks like it's the mothers alienating the fathers. Because that's what he saw. And the feminists didn't like that, and the APA didn't like that, and nobody liked that. And Gardner, before he died, he changed. He said, well, it could go both ways. But that wasn't enough. They still didn't want to accept it. And in fact, the article goes on to say, and the American Psychological Association has no official position on whether the syndrome is real, citing a lack of evidence that supports its existence. You know, that's the APA for you. I mean, they're in bed with the feminists in a big way, and they can't stand up and really look critically at something like that. And remember, they're saying this, there's no reason for its existence. At the same time, there's 2 diagnoses in the DSM that are basically the same thing. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, PAS. It'd be good to get rid of PAS, eh? Now they go on to say something else. Evidence from the United States has also suggested that PAS has been disproportionately used against women. According to a 2017 examination of 238 U.S. court cases involving alienation claims, fathers not only made the vast majority of alienation claims, maybe it's because they had more cases to do that, but also won their cases at a much higher rate than women making claims against men. So the Post is saying this as if this is a strike against the idea that men are alienated more often. But actually, in my view, it's a strike for. It says, maybe there are more men bringing cases like this because there's more cases where men are alienated. Maybe men win more cases in courts with this kind of thing because the courts are actually, for one time, being fair. And they're saying, oops, look what happened to Dad. I mean, these are really horrible cases you find sometimes with these women, just very, very nasty. And the judges can pick this up. They pick it up. Anyway, maybe that's enough for now. But so the Post made me happy once again. And the other thing that makes me happy is men are good, as are you. So like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Come see me on Patreon. We're having a good time on Patreon, and we're having a weekly video meeting. And a Red Pill Oasis, we call it. So come on and join us and check it out. And we'll see you. Men are good.